Hey everybody, welcome to Web3 Wednesday. I'm Shelly Palmer and we are here in New York City. Where are you? That's the big question. This has been quite a week. If you are here with us on YouTube Live, please let's chat. You can enter your name, where you're from. That would be awesome. And of course, tell me a little bit about what you do, because not only do I want to know what you do, but everybody who's in chat with you wants to know what you do. You guys can network a little bit together. And of course, anything you want to ask me, it's an Ask Me Anything kind of Wednesday. Again, I'm Shelly Palmer, and this is Web3 Wednesday. We have so much to cover today. I want to just jump right in. What's going on in the Ukraine is out of control. And I know so many of you want to help. I get so many emails every day about the scams that are going on, and boy, the bad people, the bad actors are out there. Just the social engineering is horrifying. What we did is we located an article from the Today Show, from the NBCU, the NBC Universal Social Responsibility Team, and they have listed 11 charities that they have verified. You can go, we just have a link to it here, shellypalmer.com/Ukraine. It's going to take you to the Today Show website and directly to the article, and you can click on any of the charities in that article and they're all verified and they're all safe. We just did this as a shortcut because the URL to the Today Show site is you wouldn't be able to type in, so we just did a quick forward for you. It's shellypalmer.com/Ukraine. Please go there, choose a charity of your choice. They explain these 11 verified charities. Each one does something a little bit different. What's important about all those charities is not only they verified, and NBC has done all the heavy lifting for you, so your money is going to be safe and is going to get where it's going. Every one of these organizations has boots on the ground where they can do good right now, where the good is needed. So if you can find it in your heart to give, I would beg you to go to shellypalmer.com/Ukraine. Again, it's going to take you to a Today Show website where the NBC Universal Social Responsibility Team has vetted 11 charities for you. Please pick one that works for you and give with all your heart. That's my big ask for today. While we're on the subject of fun things to do, as many of you know, we have a private social network we started just at the beginning of the pandemic. And now that we're coming out of the pandemic on the other side, we have moved all of PGX, our private social network, to Discord. Discord.gg/Shelly Palmer. The link is in the description to this YouTube video. You're all welcome to join. When you get there, you have to verify yourself. So you're not going to see anything. You're going to get there and go, wait, what's here? Yeah, all you got to do is go into the Verify tab and click a thumbs up that's right underneath the Verify. Then boom, you'll see everything. We've got hot topics, all the different, we've got all the different headings and subcategories we had at PGX. If you want to add a category, just shoot us a message, DM us, and we will add a category. There are a couple moderators. If you want to moderate a channel inside of the Discord server, let us know. We'd love to have you moderate a Discord channel. We're talking about technology, media, entertainment, marketing, Web3, of course, DeFi, crypto, all the subsets. Whatever makes you happy, we'd love to talk about it. There's a lot of smart people there. We've got about 850 of the 3,350 PGX members have moved over. I think a couple of PGX members really weren't that active, so a lot of you have already moved over. The conversation needs to be more robust. I know a lot of you are scared of Discord. Discord is pretty scary. Discord.gg/Shelly Palmer. It's a vanity URL. The server's been boosted. Here's what we need, though. We need to have a really solid active chat going all the time. So Marvin, welcome from San Jose. Scott Moss, always a pleasure. Susan Brazer, welcome. We're so happy to have you here from Lion Share Media. Jessica Cohen, welcome from Fairfield, Connecticut. And Steve Grubbs, also welcome to you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. It's a nice crowd shaping up here. Again, ask me anything, questions that, whatever you want to cover, I will be happy to try to cover today. So much going on in the world, it's hard to know where to begin. But let's start here. Let's start with the European Union and the Monday vote. Now, there was a proposed vote. This one was a little scary. They wanted to outlaw proof of work crypto. So proof of work cryptocurrencies were going to be outlawed. That would have been immediately banning Bitcoin and ETH for starters, and quite a few others. There are about 15,000 cryptocurrencies many of them use what's known as proof of work in order to mine their coins. And so, yeah, problematically, that would have really been something. So what happened was the EU voted. They took out this particular piece of regulation. They just decided that this wasn't going to be a thing. And so Bitcoin and ETH live to fight another day. We've got a question here from Betsy D. Betsy D, what's the difference between proof of work and proof of stake? Why isn't the EU concerned about proof of stake? It's a good question. There are a bunch of different ways that you can verify a transaction on a blockchain. So Betsy D, the proof of work is the computer that's done the most work is out in front of the other computers. And so it's trying to solve a mathematical puzzle. There's some luck involved, but the computer that's done the most work and is the luckiest is out front. Then other computers behind it verify. By the time about 6 computer nodes in the blockchain have verified that a block is legitimate, it's really hard to change the blockchain. You'd have to actually go back and fork the blockchain in order to change it. So this is part of the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper. It's the way Bitcoin works, this sort of proof of work mining. It is electricity intensive or resource intensive because you've got a lot of computers trying to solve a puzzle, and a lot of it is just dumb luck. But the way to make dumb luck on your side is to brute force an awful lot of computational power against this proof of work algorithm. So if you've got 100,000 computers trying to solve a problem and I have one, you have 100,000 more chances to win than I do. I've got one chance to win. You get 100,000 chances to win. So commercial miners have 100,000, 200,000 computers that are trying to solve the same problem I'm trying to solve in my bedroom. They're most likely going to win. They're also going to use a ton of electricity, which is why the European Union guys are going after it. Now, proof of stake is a slightly different approach. Proof of stake is, rather than have a consensus that starts with a computer doing proof of work and finding the solution, and then other computers confirming that they've also found the same solution, and everybody verifies the blockchain. Proof of stake is a little bit different. Proof of stake, it is a consensus algorithm also, but it doesn't need as high a percentage of nodes agreeing, and so it's less secure in some ways, and it's faster. It uses less computational power because they're not verifying quite the same way, they're validating. So they're called validator nodes in a proof of stake environment. I would urge you to read up on it. I don't really want to do a deep dive into proof of work, proof of stake. I will say to you though that there are other things like proof of authority, and there are other ways that blockchains become validated or authenticated, that a transaction becomes validated or authenticated, and many of them are far less electricity or resource intensive than proof of work. Also, the EU, though I won't say that the politicians are misinformed, just so that we are all on the same page. In the world we live in, electrical grids are baseload. There are baseload electrical grids with alternating current, and it's not true that all Bitcoin mining or all crypto mining is bad for the environment, and specifically bad by using too much electricity. Electricity can't be stored. Direct current electricity can be stored, but not alternating current. You can't, if you don't use it, you lose it, and the grid needs a base load. So if you're wondering about the environmental impact of cryptocurrency mining or crypto mining, what I would urge you to do is go look up on Google baseload electricity grids or electrical grids. You're looking for information about the way power companies work and the way that the grids are interconnected and how electricity is distributed across a continent like the United States or across Europe or across a country. And then you could look into just quickly what is proof of work and how does that work, and then what is proof of stake and proof of authority. And you can get a sense of how various blockchains are verified or validated and how coins are mined and how NFTs are minted, and it will give you a good sense, a very good sense of what it is that we are up against. We discuss it at Discord, on our Discord channels. It's Shelly Palmer Discord server, which you can see there. Yes, I've got it right there as discord.gg/Shelly Palmer. We'd love to have you there to talk about it. So thanks for that. There's another question here. What is this from Jeff K? Jeff K asks, is the EU going after crypto the same way they went after big tech about data? Yeah. Look, I have, thank you for that, Jeff. I have often said, the EU's tech strategy is to just sue big tech. That's what they do. They don't innovate. They just sue. And GDPR and all things about data, they have just gone after big tech everywhere they can. But also, look, Europe has a different sociological sensibility. You know, there's some people say that in America, we live to work, and in Europe they work to live. Like, they have a different way of thinking about it. So yeah, I don't know that any of us are empowered to pass judgment here on the European strategy for big tech. Are they going after crypto the same way? No. They're going to go after crypto 50 times harder than they're going after data. 50 times harder. Crypto is a threat to the way governments govern. Data is just annoying to governments. Officials have realized not that you can get elected using Facebook or Google, but that you can get unelected when somebody uses Facebook or Google better than you do. So they want a little more control over it than they're allowed to have. But in practice, cryptocurrency is a real threat to the way governments work. There's going to be a big fight. Let's see who's here. Edward Menicheski, welcome. We've got Charlie from Detroit. Welcome, Chad Angelo. It's so great to see you. And Lisa Schwab, so great to have everybody here. Thank you. Remember, tell us where you are and what you're into, and let's get a good conversation going in chat. And of course, ask me anything, whatever you want to talk about. We have another question here right now from Steve G. Steve G, let's find out what this question is. Got to press my button. Hold on. What are your thoughts on anonymous and other global hackers attacking Russia? My thoughts. Well, not to get myself in trouble, I'm surprised that we don't hear more about that kind of stuff. You know, the world we live in is a dangerous place. There are a lot of hackers that do an awful lot of hacking, and you know, why aren't the bad guys doing some good guy work? Maybe they are. It's hard to know. It's really hard to know. I don't have any deep insights, literally, into what Anonymous is doing. And if you're interested in all of the things hackers are doing, you're not going to believe this, but you need to simply spend a half hour searching. And if you spend the weekend going through some videos on YouTube, you will have a very deep understanding of where you can go and what websites. And when they talk dark web, all they really mean is that a lot of these sites are just not in search engines. They're not on Google. But once you know the name of a half a dozen, quote, dark web, unquote, websites, you will, and I'm not going to start putting them up here because I don't want to promote this kind of behavior, but it is not going to take you long to get yourself into that community. Plenty of Discord servers, Lantern, Signal. There are plenty of places you can go to learn a lot about what's happening on the underbelly of the internet. If that's interesting to you, you're not going to learn about it here. We're going to talk about Web3, and we're going to talk about positive, optimistic uses of the technology. But we will acknowledge for all of you, there is a terribly dark side to this. And, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So hopefully the bad guys will go after the bad guys too. Hopefully. We'll see. Thank you, Steve. Welcome, Muriel, and welcome, Bethany. Welcome, everybody. Stephen from Washington, D.C., welcome. So happy to have you here. So just a super quick plug for this, you know, because I have to plug it. The blockchain book is available on Amazon. It's doing pretty well. What's important here, though, isn't the blockchain book, which I'd love you to go and get. But what's important is the blockchain resources at shellypalmer.com/blockchain. All kinds of resources for you there. They're all free. Nothing to buy. No one's going to call you. No one's going to bother you. You want to learn about the various companies that we're looking at. There's a great resource page there. There's a decent database of companies we like a lot. Resources about mining, engineering, minting your own coins, your own tokens rather, and your own NFTs. like anything you want to do, there's an awful lot of resources there. So hopefully you'll take advantage of it. I hope you will. And, just that's sort of my pitch for the day on that one. Now let's get serious about today's news story. And again, any questions you have, please just bring them up. So last week, while we were on, President Biden signed an executive order, and I didn't have all the details at the time because I had only rumors and we had the pre-release. But now I'm actually holding the executive order in my hand. Got it. And so I know what it's about. And I didn't know if I was going to be happy or sad about what President Biden did here. And I am generally pretty happy. And I think the street was generally pretty happy too. I'm not guaranteeing that, but I think everybody was pretty happy with it. So let's just go over a couple things. And again, any questions you might have, you throw them in here. So the executive order didn't do much other than say that the government's going to study a bunch of stuff. And the things they're going to study, it calls for measures to protect U.S. consumers, investors, and businesses by directing the Department of the Treasury to develop policy recommendations to address the implications of the growing digital assets sector. Okay. Thank you, President Biden. I'm sure that it's nice. It will be really nice to have a unified government approach to that, because the craziness of having not a unified approach is actually more now. So if there was a unified, if Treasury and DOJ and SEC were all sort of like lined up, that nothing bad would happen there. You might not like the regulations, but at least you know what they were. At the moment, it's hard to know. Hello, Doug from Washington State. Glad you're here. And yes, we will get you an update on Met Academy in just a minute. Absolutely. Definitely do that. But I want to go over this executive order from the president. Protect U.S. and global financial stability and mitigate systemic risk by encouraging the Financial Stability Oversight Council to identify and mitigate economy-wide financial risks posed by digital assets, of course. Okay, I buy that. Mitigate the illicit finance and national security risks posed by the illicit use of digital assets by directing an unprecedented focus of coordinated action across all relevant U.S. government agencies to mitigate these risks. I guess that's money laundering. Why not? Promote U.S. leadership in technology and economic competitiveness to reinforce U.S. leadership in the global financial system by directing the Department of Commerce to work across the U.S. government and establishing a framework to drive U.S. competitiveness and leadership and leveraging digital asset technology. Sorry, I can't speak today. Framework will serve as a foundation for agencies and integrate this as a priority into their policy, research and development, and operational approaches to digital assets. I like that too. Nothing here is making me sad yet. Promote equitable access to safe and affordable financial services by affirming the critical need for safe, affordable, and accessible financial services as a U.S. national interest that must inform our approach to digital asset innovation, including disparate impact risk. Secretary of Treasury is going to work with all relevant agencies to produce a report on the future of money and payment systems. That'll be good. Can't wait to see that. Hopefully someone will do their homework and we'll get something great out of that. And lastly, or second to last, we've got support technological advances and ensure responsible development and use of digital assets by directing the U.S. government to take concrete steps to study and support technological advances in the responsible development, design, and implementation of digital asset systems, while prioritizing, in no particular order, privacy, security, illicit exploitation, and reducing negative climate impacts. You got to love that too. Nothing bad here. So far, this is a giant nothing sandwich. And here's the final one. Explore a U.S. central bank digital currency, CBDC, by placing urgency on research and development of a potential United States CBDC. Should the issuance be deemed in the national interest, the order directs the U.S. government to assess the technological infrastructure and capacity needs for a potential CBDC. And more about doing it. Okay, so they're just prioritizes U.S. participation in a multi-country experimentation that ensures U.S. leadership. So I'll tell you what, the United States dollar is the exchange currency of the world. It just is. You should look that up if you don't know what that is. It's an actual economic reality. Ray Dalio has an extraordinary 45-minute video on YouTube that has over 6 million views. You can go look at Ray Dalio's video about the New World Order. He does a really nice job explaining exchange currency in that video. I liked it a lot. His book is pretty cool too about the New World Order. You may disagree with it. He's a fairly significant capitalist who's done fairly well for himself. So it's a guy who knows what he's talking about. You may not like what he's talking about, but he knows what he's talking about. And I think at the end of the day, what's gone on, I'm not an economist. This show's not about financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. If you want financial advice, go get a licensed financial advisor. All crypto is inherently risky, and I'm not making any recommendations. Just I have to say that. Okay, so here's the thing. The United States dollar has been the exchange currency of the world at least since 1971. Nixon took us off the gold standard, and I think it was the second time that was done. They started printing a lot of money. It didn't quite work out the way they hoped it would, but at the end of the day, U.S. dollar is pretty much accepted all over the world as the U.S. dollar, and the full faith and credit of the U.S. government's behind it. As you were very well aware, over the last couple months, the administration has been punishing Russia and other countries by restricting their access to the U.S. dollar. It's hard to be the exchange currency of the world if you take part of the world out of the equation. Now, I'm not an economist. I'm not a specialist in monetary policy, although the blockchain book is a high-ranked book in monetary policy. Trust me when I tell you, I'm not an expert in monetary policy. But I am a student of it, and I am very inquisitive about how money works and how it's used. If you want to have the exchange currency of the world so that a US dollar is considered hard currency on all the corners of the earth, and you decide you're going to just take it away from certain people and make it useless to them, it doesn't take a genius to understand that you're leaving a giant opening for a competitive currency. Now, will that competitive currency be crypto? Or will it be some currency of a sovereign nation? Will it be a yuan or a ruble or a euro? Or will I don't know. But if you used to have currency that anyone could use anywhere on the planet, and you take that away from a giant portion of the world's economy, then what? Last week we talked about the digital Iron Curtain going back up. During the Cold War, there was the Iron Curtain, and now Russia's put up the digital Iron Curtain, and they kind of threw Facebook out of there, and Google is being restricted, and people who are not towing the party line with the propaganda that Putin wants are being put in jail for 15 years, or have threat of being put in jail for 15 years. I have no personal knowledge of whether or not they've put anybody in jail yet for violating that. But at the end of the day, once you put up the digital Iron Curtain, and you've got the same thing going on in China. You've got the Great Firewall of China. They control the information there. Iran controls the information there. North Korea controls the information there. The free and open internet is not exactly as free and open as we would expect it to be or want it to be. So let's talk about that for a second. You've got restricted information, so you've got whole populations that are only getting the propaganda from their leaders. That is a state-run information agency. Yeah, some people have VPNs. Some people are able to use some tools to get around it, for sure, but not widely. It's not like you turn on the TV set and you're seeing something that's real. You turn on the TV set, you're seeing what the politicians, the dictators, want you to see. Now your black market's not trading in U.S. dollars anymore because you can't really turn those U.S. dollars into something because we're punishing the country you live in. And you can't move those U.S. dollars around. So that's now just paper that has no value. You're going to look for an alternative. And what's that alternative going to be? And what's the government or the methodology going to be? I don't have answers to any of these questions, but they're questions that come to my mind instantly. And I'm, like I said, not a monetary policy expert, but the people who I've spoken to who are monetary policy experts share my questions and share my concerns and don't have answers that are fulfilling or emotionally satisfying to me. I would ask each of you to ask these questions too and do a little bit of homework on this and decide how you feel about it and what should be done. Are the policies of this administration, are the sanctions working? If they are working, what are the consequences? We know the consequences of not sending, at the moment, military aid past a point. There are people dying. There's a very good rationale. You hear a lot of people saying, well, we can't escalate this past a point. They have chemical weapons and nuclear weapons, and we're not looking for a nuclear war, so there's only so much we can do. I get that. On the other side, we are brutally punishing the Russian government and the Russian people by changing the balance of power with the US dollar and changing their ability to use it. Well, since part of what this conversation is about, Web3 is about, the way that you exchange value in Web3 is through cryptocurrency, both fungible and non-fungible tokens. So where do they play in a world where the US dollar is no longer the exchange currency of the entire world? I'm fascinated by the whole idea. You should be too. I hope that you will, dig in. And I'd love to have that conversation on Discord. I'd love to have that conversation here in chat. I'd love to have that conversation with you via email. To that end, you can send me an email, Shelly@shellypalmer.com. If you don't want to be on Discord, I'm totally happy to start an email dialogue with you. These are fascinating subjects. They're important subjects, and I don't have a lot of great answers to the questions I'm asking right now, which is why I'm asking them. I really personally wondering, what is all this, and how is it all working, and what are we likely to be heading ourselves into, and do we even know what this looks like? We haven't seen inflation like this since I was a kid. It was the 70s last time inflation looked like this. And if you adjust out some of the things you need to adjust out to get real numbers, I was out to dinner the other night at a reasonable restaurant, not a great restaurant, and it was pushing $100 a person for something that should have been about $30 to $40 a person. So you could tell me the inflation's a few percentage points, single digits. I'm telling you, it's 200% where I just was. I went to buy a pair of French doors yesterday, blanks. There's an opening in my apartment. We decided we want to put a door there. It's a 94-inch or a 96-inch door height, and it's a 30-inch opening, so two 15-inch 6-light French door panels. The quote from no brand you've ever heard of, Doors R Us, Discount Door Warehouse or whatever, $1,056 plus tax for two 15-inch 6-light, that's 6 little windows, unpainted, no hardware. So now a carpenter's going to have to come in, put in hinges. You're putting in a door into a doorway, a 30-inch opening. You want it to have a couple of little light panels in it so that those doors pre-pandemic, they're $200 each. They're not $500 each. It's crazy. So what is this single-digit inflation they're talking about? What is the supply shock really doing? The real numbers are very, very different. I think all of us need to get a handle on what this is and what it means. When I was a kid in the gas crisis in the 70s, and gas was like, I want to say 60-something cents a gallon before the gas crisis. 71, 69, 60, 70, 71. I think the gas crisis started in 71 or 72. I don't remember the exact dates. I remember sitting on long, long lines with even and odd number license plates as they rationed. You could only fill up $10 worth. And cars got like 8 miles a gallon or something. Then it was like nobody was getting good gas mileage. So gas was per capita astoundingly, it was ridiculous at the time. But the gas went to $1.75. And it has never been below $1.75 after, I'm going to call it 1972, ever again. So yeah, Richard Eastburn saying gas in the late 60s regular was 15 cents. I don't remember 15-cent gas, but I remember like 60-cent gas. And it's very clear that nothing good is going on here. We have another question before I move on to the next story. Let's grab this question right here. From hold on. We've seen that one. We want to see this one. This is the question. Now I have to look really hard. In the next year, do you see brands really looking to advertise in the metaverse, or is it solely cutting-edge brands, Adidas, for example, leaning in directly Press fund fandom. Yeah. What a great question, Chad. So there are a couple things I would say on that subject. There's no such thing as the metaverse. There are a bunch of cartoon worlds with cartoon people in them right now that are to be enjoyed either in a 2D or 3D environment with either Oculus Quest or something like it, or just on your computer. You know, Roblox, the Sandbox, Axie Infinity, Fortnite, Decentraland. You go there, it's Second Life on bad acid or something. I mean, it's an enhanced version of what has been in the past. Is that the future? God, I hope not. I hope it's more interesting than that. Are brands going to play there? They should. All of our clients want to do something in the, quote, metaverse. No one knows what that means, by the way. So we've got some metaverse architecture projects going where we're building buildings and edifices in virtual edifices. The more interesting stuff is fantasy sports and interactive sociological experiments that have people coming in to a virtual environment and interacting and then creating value and exchanging value. These are all nascent projects. We've seen like Lil Nas X and Roblox, 30 million concert viewers. I mean, that's impressive. So, but what happens after that? Do you get an NFT? Does that, you get a loyalty card? Do you, like, what happens after that? How do you take that community and how do you build on it? And what are consumers, what is the consumer willingness to play along and keep playing along? Is this a Tamagotchi or is this like a thing consumers want to do now? We know that TikTok is something people want to do. They want to be entertained with their ADHD attention spans, and they want to be able to be in immense control. A quarter second to half a second. I'm just going to scroll. Oh, I like that for a second. I'll wait 1 second. Nope, you haven't got me in a second and a half. Wow. That's impressive. That seems to be where people are. Are they going to go invest themselves into a virtual world? This is what test and learn projects are about. So I don't, all I can say is every client we have has got us doing something in the metaverse somewhere, somehow. Fan development, audience development, loyalty programs, value exchanges, little mini DAOs. Some people are experimenting with avatars. Other people are it's all over the map, which I think is good because I don't think anybody knows. I mean, anyone who says they know is just lying. We'll see what consumers do. They always vote with their wallets. It's kind of fun. So will they vote with their digital wallets? I assume they will vote with their digital wallets too. Speaking of digital wallets, Metamask topped 30 million users, and they put out a press release. They just raised $450 million. Wait for it. That puts these guys at a $7 billion valuation. I mean, this is just amazing. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Metamask, it is... it's both a mobile and a browser extension-based wallet. My MetaMask was hacked in December. You need to attach it to a hardware wallet. It's easy to do. There's some writings there at shellypalmer.com. And in fact, there's writings there at metacademy.xyz. So if you want, we're going to launch this, I promise, by the end of the month. This has just been like the hardest thing in the world to do, and we have not gotten it done, and I apologize for that. We need to get it done. But metacademy.xyz, go sign up. We will teach you how to put up a MetaMask wallet and also attach it to a hardware wallet so that you can be as safe as possible. But back to our MetaMask consensus story. They raised a bunch of money. They've also got some amazing developer tools. I don't know if any of you are doing any blockchain development or any crypto development, but Infura, the Infura developer tools, they're absolutely invaluable to the process. And these guys do all that. They're thinking about a DAO or maybe their own token. That kind of rumor has been around for, I don't know, forever. There's still a rumor. But what's exciting is that the MetaMask guys are, they're doing it. And Wall Street seems to like what they're doing. 30 million monthly active users on MetaMask. Wow. Crypto is starting to happen. It's starting to be a thing. And if you don't have a MetaMask wallet, there are many others. You should experiment with MetaMask, but all MetaMask wallets should be considered gateways. and they must be, 4 times underlined must be, used in conjunction with a hardware wallet. You do not want to use Metamask by itself in your browser. You just don't. Just don't do it. It's craziness. Quickly, we are doing on April, I want to say 13th. Joey will put in chat right now the actual date of this thing and some kind of link that you can get to. And if we can't put a link in, you can just email me or just go on the Discord server and ask for an invitation. We are going to do an Engage to Earn first ever Newhouse Advanced Media Lab Series event. It will be in person at the Fisher Center in New York, which is on 136 Madison Avenue. I want to say April 12th. Am I right about that? I think it's April 12th. Pretty sure. Might be April 13th. I'm going to get the science on that for you in 1 second. It's either the 12th or the 13th. But whichever date it is, which we'll put up in a minute, you can come in person or you'll be able to watch online. And we're going to get like some dignitaries from the Engage to Earn world. Engage to Earn, play to earn, learn to earn, listen to earn, watch to earn, this whole Engage to Earn movement. It'll be our first Syracuse Newhouse Advanced Media Lab Series event. Should be we'll do a little panel, be about an hour long, be in the evening, and it should be great fun. So just email me about that, and we will definitely take you through it. We're coming towards the end. I see a bunch of other questions. I'd love to get a few more questions rather than go into another topic. So hit me up with a couple more questions. Here's one more. Let's see what we got here. Has there been any significant movement of Russian assets into or out of blockchain this past week? Stephen S. So, not being one who pays giant attention to that, I'll tell you how you go find out. There are companies like Chainalysis, and there are blockchain explorers. Blockchain.com will point you to the Bitcoin Explorer. You can go to Etherscan for the Ethereum Explorer. There are many others. The issue that has my undivided attention about crypto money laundering has nothing to do with the Ethereum mainnet or the blockchain Bitcoin mainnet. None of those things are. I think those wallets are well understood by all the people who need to understand them. I think they're being watched by every agency. Remember, these are distributed ledgers. They are totally public. There's no place to hide. So do I know which ones are Russian oligarchs versus Russian state-owned versus, Joey down the street? I don't. I really don't. But what is of concern, XMR, Monero, is a privacy coin. And as you know, if you've been following me, there are lots of different kinds of cryptocurrency. You've got store of value coins, you've got utility coins, you've got meme coins or shit coins, you've got CBDCs we talked about earlier, central bank digital currencies, which are issued by governments, and they are instruments, financial instruments issued by central governments. And then you've got stable coins, which are pegged to fiat currencies, but not necessarily issued by, in fact, not issued by the governments that the bills represent. So there's some risk assigned there. So USDT, USDC, BUSD, which are all US stable coins, they all trade in and around $1 all the time. But when you do a trade with XMR, when you do a trade with Monero, the foundational principles for Monero are ain't no one gets to know nothing about nobody. And they go out of their way to design it that way. So what most interested me this week wasn't all the visible blockchains that, you can watch. And what was Bitcoin today? Bitcoin's at 40,333 right now, and ETH is at 2693.60. I mean, it's been bubbling around 35 to 40 something thousand dollars Bitcoin for a while. That doesn't say that there's a lot of movement out there. But there was like a 2,000% increase in Monero transactions. You don't know who's doing them. You just saw the increase. It's hard to buy Monero because it's not generally traded on KYC exchanges because you can't know who the customer is. The wallets are anonymous and they don't comply with a lot of the regulations. So when you think about sex trafficking, money laundering, selling arms to the enemy, getting around sanctions, the crypto you mean isn't Bitcoin, and it isn't ETH, and it's not DOT, and it's not Sol, and it's not ADA, and it's not Matic, and it's not Link. It's none of those. And if it trades on Coinbase, no one's doing anything untoward with it. In fact, it's more visible than doing a deal at Chase or Citibank. Those are actually private till someone sues you for it or gets a subpoena to get to see the information. Every blockchain transaction done at Coinbase is visible to everybody as soon as you move the money. Monero, not so much. So that's what's of concern to me, not the other. And I feel like that's the thing I'm watching the most. That is what I'm watching the most. So yeah. Anyway, look, we're not going to solve for any of this here at Web3 Wednesday. But we are going to do is we're going to get you thinking a certain way, right? All I want you to do is consider what's going on. I want you to consider the options. I want you to look at the upside and the downside. Nothing is a panacea. Nothing is utopia. Nothing is going to be perfect. We're in a world right now where there's a new kind of value exchange that is emerging very quickly. It's going to be used for good. It's going to be used for bad. For sure. For sure. Is the metaverse real? I don't know. A lot of projects. Are they going to work? Some will, some won't. A lot of people thought newsletters with fax machines were the new thing. Yeah. Then newsletters with email came, and all of a sudden, newsletters with email. The early ones had PDFs attached to the emails. You had to open the PDF. Later ones were able to be designed into the email so the browsers can handle it, your email client can handle it, and all of a sudden, you had a world that we live in right now. It took a while. It wasn't instant. There was at least a 10-year period in there where things evolved to become what they are. This is evolving, and it's evolving really quickly. And you're the ones who are going to help it evolve. So you need to be an architect of the world you want to live in. You can't just pawn this off to somebody else. And that's the reason that I'm doing Web3 Wednesday. It's not that I want to be here streaming. It's I want to hear what you have to say, and I want to get a collective mind going. One of the most beautiful things about the world we live in is that we have the ability to organize our thoughts. And if you have a diverse enough group with a wide enough range of experience, amazing things happen. So you guys are my team of teams, and the stuff that you send to me is what I find the most valuable. The ideas that you think are wacky, the ideas you think are brilliant. Sometimes your worldview is so different from mine, it changes my point of view. I assume sometimes my worldview is so different from yours, it changes your point of view. That's the point of Web3 Wednesday. So I appreciate that everybody's here, and I'm really, really thrilled to keep doing this. As long as you guys will keep watching, we're going to keep making these. Again, the email is Shelly@ShellyPalmer.com. And as much as I want you to use Shelly@ShellyPalmer.com, and I do, what I really want from each and every one of you is get on Discord. Discord.gg/ShellyPalmer. Get on Discord. Get involved. Start talking. Keep Discord open all day long. That's a cool thing to do. And start to interact. We are having the most interesting discussions about everything that's going on in the world. You're going to learn a little, you're going to teach a little, and we're all going to be better for it. And with that, I will say to you that this, as you know, is my favorite time of the week. I love spending it with you, and I really love the fact that you're all here. So thank you for being here. I will see you next week, Wednesday, 12:15 Eastern. You take care.